welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence,
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
and this is a special fast forward episode during our Women in Horror Month about The Devil's Doorway. We had the opportunity to attend the Women in Horror Film Festival a year ago, and we had the opportunity to meet Ashlyn Clark, who is the writer and director of The Devil's Doorway. And we finally were able to watch the film. It's available on Hulu, and if you haven't seen it, it's or know anything about it, it's sort of in the vein of a found footage movie, but it's from supposedly 1960, and so it's got this old film look. Meg, initial thoughts on The Devil's Doorway?
Yeah, I'm a fan of found footage. I think it's a fun way to show horror and a sort of a particular perspective, and I love that it's old school. Um, you know, you don't really think about found footage being this old 1960, and so it does have this vintage look and the colors, and even you get to kind of see the camera and the reflection and things, and it's just kind of a cool retro feel.
Yes, I love that feeling. And the opening sequence, it's seeing part of the end of the film already when they're in these tunnels, and um, we see this opening sequence and the camera falls, and it gave me goosebumps. It's so creepy. The whole style of how the film is shot and edited is amazing, and the sound editing in particular, when you're hearing this light bulb click on and off and sometimes the sound cuts out, it just adds to that creepiness factor.
Yeah, what kind of surprised me about the movie is a lot of times movies like this, they'll kind of start with those typical tropes, and it's very like subtle and maybe like, the wind. Could it be the wind or a ghost moving the curtains or something like that? But this movie, I felt like um, the director, she wasn't afraid to just really have like these concrete things happening right there in front of the camera. It wasn't like she was afraid to be sort of lay it out there on the line, and I thought that was really sort of a cool, unexpected way that she took this.
Some of the subtle, creepy things, again, that were just there that you could see on camera. Maybe not, maybe our characters didn't always see them, but we did. The handprints on the mirror when John he just like leaned forward to take a sip of water, and you could see the children's handprints on the mirror behind him. That was creepy. Just hearing the children's laughter. I know we were all involved in that. The girl Kathleen coming out of her bed, and we can just see the whites of her eyes. Like for a split second after she blinked, her eyes were all white instead of looking normal. And then she's in the bed, and we see a hand come up and grab her hand and hold her hand for a moment. And it's all so subtle but so effective.
The part that scared me was during the, I don't know, I don't want to say birth scene because it didn't even feel like a typical birth scene, but the singing and then the camera just on the Kathleen's face, that part was just very, I mean, there's nothing really happening, but the sounds, again, you were talking about sound editing, the sounds that they were using at that point and just the singing and the creepy level, it was very effective, and it had me really drawn in.
I too that scene I This is the second time I've watched this movie now, and that scene really stuck out to me. And again, you don't have to show all the blood and gore of what's happening to be effective. It's actually almost worse, meaning better, that we don't see anything happening there. Um, then also, I can't remember if this must have been before, yes, because then she's passed. But when she's crouching and all we see is the white of her eyes, like I've seen that image used to promote the movie, and oh my gosh, it's so creepy.
I love too that the director and the writers like took some opportunity to sort of make a few kind of statements about the reality of women in these situations, and also there's a great speech by the head nun about how nuns are sort of uh, tasked with sort of dealing with all the men's issues and how they have to take care of everything, and everything sort of brushed aside for them to be in charge of. And I thought it was a really I don't know, it just was a really sort of poignant scene in a way. And obviously the Catholic Church is going through a lot right now, so it's kind of interesting from just the perspective of this found footage slash like demon movie. There were some political statements being made, I think, too.
Yeah, the movie starts off with talking about sharing these facts about the Magdalene laundries, and so I looked it up just to see what the facts were about it, and over 30,000 women were kept potentially against their will there, and they found just in 1993, which is not that long ago, a mass grave of women from one of these places.
It's like these lost people that women specifically that and to think about all the children too that were born out of wedlock, and that was kind of a theme as well, and how that was, in this day and age it's hard to believe, but how they were just thrown aside.
They were demonized, which, and then literally in this, movie, it's delving into that aspect. So well done. I cannot wait to see what Ashlyn does next. And fun little bonus addition here. Lisa, our mixologist, has made a drink for us this week based on the movie. Lisa, take it away.
Hi, horror friends. Lisa here, and today I'm so excited to make a drink with you that I'm calling Mary's Salty Tears, inspired by The Devil's Doorway. I was fortunate enough to decompress after squirming through this incredible and terrifying film at the IFC Film Center here in New York with none other than the inspiring and all-around awesome Ashlyn Clark. Memories of those drinks and shared stories brought me to Mary's Salty Tears. All right, for this drink, you will need Bushmills Red Bush Irish Whiskey, as it's distilled in Northern Ireland, where this film takes place, and those tears are blood red. A Cabernet Sauvignon, or the blood of Christ for us former and or present Catholics out there. Dry vermouth, sweet vermouth, olive juice, the salt to taste the tears, ice, shaker, jig, martini glass, and some olives and a toothpick for garnish. All right, let's get started. Go ahead and fill your shaker with ice and add 1 3/4 ounce whiskey, 1 ounce wine, 1/3 ounce dry vermouth, 1/3 ounce sweet vermouth, 1/3 ounce olive juice. Put your topper on and shake like I did while Father Thomas searches those catacombs. Strain out into your martini glass and garnish with 2 olives on a toothpick. Her eyes to watch over you as you enjoy what I believe would be the offspring of a Manhattan and a dirty martini if they had an illicit affair in the church's sanctuary. Ashlyn, I hope to convince a bartender to make these for us next time you're in NYC. And to my horror friends out there, cheers.
So if you haven't seen The Devil's Doorway, we highly recommend it. Like we mentioned, it's available on Hulu, and I just saw that they had the Blu-ray release, so check it out.
Yeah, you guys, check it out. If you like found footage movies, support women in horror, and also, I mean, who doesn't like a good possessed person and with the crosses going upside down and and there's so many creepy moments.
Yes, definitely. It's a nice fun watch. We hope you are having an excellent week and happy Women in Horror Month. We'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.